Hello, everyone, and welcome to round number 4 here at the 2019 PDGA World Championships bonus coverage.
Bonus coverage.
Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, with a not nearly as attractive as him. Way more than attractive.
It's two different kinds of attractive.
Oh, that's true. Well, Dixon Jowers has actually graciously volunteered to provide some additional insight here. I want to thank Robert McCall and Hannah McBeth, who have been alongside me all week. And now, Dixon, we bring you in off the course and we have you here in studio. You're going to provide so many great insights for me today. I think I might take a nap while you take care of all the really impressive coverage.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Starting off on fire.
Well, here we go. This is super exciting. We're coming in on hole number 12. We're giving you some bonus coverage. Of course, one of the stories for us on the media side this week is that we knew we were going to be challenged with coverage out at the Northwood course. But here we are with Kevin Jones, and we're ready to go on what many call the signature hole.
It's a signature hole, and it's the most difficult hole by far. So far today, playing at 6.48, stroke and a half over par. If you bogey this hole, you're taking strokes on the field. That's crazy.
And it looks like most of our top competitors have no idea what a bogey even is. Paul McBeth, Emerson Keith, James Conrad, all bogey-free through the first 1/3 of this course.
At least one of them will bogey this hole. That's like.
Don't be a Debbie Downer.
I'm just saying. I have personally taken a 9 and 8 the last 2 days on this hole, and there's 9s and 8s out on the scorecards today. There's only 2 birdies so far. That being Eagle and Chandler Fry.
Here's the stud of the week, Emerson Keith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be one of the legitimate challenges out here, especially with the live coverage, is trying to follow all of the disc. And when there's a tree hit out here, it could go anywhere.
For sure. This hole it's obviously very wooded, but it's a very fair hole. There's a distinct pathway the whole way. It's not like there's trees right in the middle that you're trying to dodge like some other holes that we've seen. So it's just a matter of you have to hit your line perfectly, and if you don't, it's bad news.
And a very late tree kick for Paul, but it doesn't look like that's going to punish him too bad.
Yeah, well, he's out of birdie range now. That's what everybody's hoping off the box. So now what he needs to do is just get as far as he can, but stay in the middle so that he can try to get his par.
Hold spectators, hold please. And James Conrad with a huge rip here on 12.
Yes, it was huge, but I don't think he got out to the middle. And from where he's at, he's going to have a very encumbered shot. The problem is there's a landing area across the water, and then there's a big upslope to the next landing area. So if you don't have a great spot, there's no way you can get to that second one in two. That's going to be the hard part that James is going to have to face. Everybody else, I'm sure, is thinking, okay, well, let's just get to the regular landing zone, and we'll try to manage the hole from there.
Well, this has, of course, been a hole that so many people have talked about. Paul McBeth, for instance, was on social media a few weeks ago saying that this might be one of his favorite holes in all of disc golf. And since people have arrived, and I'm talking even about friends from New Zealand and Australia that I know that are here that have said, yes, this is a very difficult hole, and this course overall, very challenging. It not only tests you physically, but it's going to test you mentally out here.
Yeah, it's a wooded. I make a distinction for courses like this. I say that it's a course in the woods, but it's not a wooded course. It's not like hole 17 at Idlewild, where there's a bunch of trees in the fairway that you're trying to get around.
Sure.
There is a clear path. You've just got to hit your shot, and then when you don't, you got to just hope for good things. Yeah, so that sunlight that you can see kind of through that gap in the trees, that's the first landing area across the creek. I bet Emerson is laying short of that. short of the creek, just trying to hit this gap and stay in the mulch.
Ron Selman, a super chat, super supporter. We appreciate it, Ron. Thank you so much.
And I see people saying on the chat, why not just throw 4 putters? Number one, if you threw 4 perfect putters, you'd still probably be 200 short. I mean, it doesn't just line up. You can't just say, well, I throw it 4 or 250 feet 4 times and that's it. That's not the way this hole works. That's fantastic. That's such a great shot. He should be able to get onto the next landing area. So par is still definitely in play for Emerson there.
That's good there, guys. Thanks. Please. Thank you.
Yeah, see, Kevin was just a little ahead of Emerson, and look what he's got. A great big bowl of nothing. This is just pitch out to the landing area and then get aggressive. Was Kevin going for it also?
Wow, now in that cleared.
There is an OB line over there. So obviously if he's OB, that's bad news. If he's not OB, I'm not sure it's a great story there either.
So Paul McBeth lining up his stance, and I'm not sure he's going to have much of a run-up, at least if he's going to go with a backhand. That's what we saw him just lining up here a moment ago. We'll see if he sticks with that or if he reaches out possibly to the right and goes with a standstill forehand, but he looks quite committed to a backhand, and that does not look like the play. Okay.
I mean, this is at least 400 feet off the tee, and he needs to be 10 feet right onto that mulch, and he'd be sitting in an absolute cherry spot. But as it is, he's going to hopefully not shatter his hand on that tree.
Yeah, this. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man, that's Paul McBeth trying to avoid the tree, and he lifted that one up.
I don't think that's OB on the side of the slope there. I think it's the water line. I think that was probably a good tree, because if he had kept going hyzer, he would have definitely cleared that OB line that's over off on the left. And that's an OB line that's in the wood. If you're over that OB line, you put a circle on your scorecard and you have a terrible spot. So at least now he just has a terrible spot.
Yeah, and what I was thinking as we were watching him line that shot up, it looked like it was to be very aggressive, and I don't want to say a low percentage shot, but I'm really surprised with how effective and efficient he is as a forehander that he didn't just reach out to his right and try and throw around those trees.
My guess is that tree that was right in front of him, 10 or 15 feet, was on that angle, and he wouldn't have been able to get out far enough in order to clear that upslope that he's on right now. Is this where James Drive landed? Holy cow. That's so far. Okay, so there's the initial hill going up where Paul is in that cabbage right there. It's a long flat spot for probably 200 feet or so, and then that next hill, and that next hill goes up about 20 feet. So from where James is throwing, that's a good solid, 400 feet maybe to get up to that next area, and it's pinching in with the woods on both sides.
Look at the gallery. Everybody filtering through the narrow fairways found here on hole number 12.
Hold that. Okay, I think he got to the top landing zone. So if he is there on the top, he can just, I mean, literally just putt out to the middle and have 200-foot putter shot left for the 5. So, I mean, that's a total win on this hole.
Yeah, it is. As you said, this hole averaging more than 6 strokes for the average overall. Pretty impressive. If you could walk away with a 5, you're picking up a stroke like you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, everybody would love to get a 4 on this hole, but in reality, I mean, that's an eagle and a half. Like it's not just an eagle. It's more than that. You don't understand how easy it is to just have your angles pinched on this hole to where you've got nothing. For instance, Paul right now is directly in the middle of the fairway, and he's going to have to throw a thumber. I mean, he's got some really bizarre shot he's going to have to do. And the problem is that the hill that he's going to try to get up onto that second landing area where JC is, I don't know if he can do that with any sort of regular shot. The shoal on the right is very thick. The shoal on the left, there's OB inside of it, but the bottom is all cut off, so it's just tree trunks. There's really no shrubbery underneath there. And so you can go skipping right towards the OB if you have anything come in on a hyzer angle.
Is it safe to say, or fair to say, that McBeth should be far more concerned about the exact pinpoint location of where this lands more so than the distance that he covers here?
Yes, but he's in a tough spot because if he just lays up to the hill, he's got nothing. I mean, it would almost be better for him just to pitch out 20 feet over this hill right in front of him, because if you get too close to that next upslope, then your angle is awful to try to get to the basket because it's back there so far. I mean, Paul could line up any sort of shot here, and I wouldn't be surprised. I have no idea what he's going to go with. Was that a hammer he was lining up, or forehand?
Looks like a thumber overhand here by McBeth.
I think that's a hammer. Yeah, that's a hammer. Slide up the hill. Okay. That's going to be a really tough shot. But he's in the middle. I mean, here's Paul. He's thrown a fantastic drive. He was barely 10 feet off the fairway. He's thrown another one. He's in the middle, and he's still struggling for a 5. Welcome to hole 12, boys and girls. So now we're going to get up to where Emerson and Kevin's scramble shots were to. They're flex forehands. I'm going to guess Kevin's going first. We've got quite the battle going for that 4th spot on the lead card. James Conrad and Chris Dickerson tied in 3rd place at 28 under. And then Ricky and Kevin Jones tied 1 shot back at 27. Okay, I mean, from where he was, that's fine. It definitely could be worse, but on top of that hill is so much better. Now, what you're talking about, Paul, this is essential for Emerson. The distance doesn't matter here. Just stay in the middle. If he stays in the middle, he's got a par. I don't think it's possible to get to the basket from there, even with an amazing shot. Although Emerson has been doing stuff that's...
I was just going to say, there's nothing that would make me doubt him at this point.
I've played with Emerson for a couple of years now, and he pulls out crazy shots all the time. Yeah. Oh man, he really looks like he's about to rip something here. This would be incredible. Okay, good. Good. I was starting to worry. Oh, jeez.
It was trying to roll back out.
That tiny little skip that was going into the woods could have been devastating. That tiny little bounce back out may have saved his par ability. He's still probably close to 200 feet from there, uphill with the trees on that last section where Emerson is. Those trees are moving together, and the OB line on the left is getting closer to the tree line on the left. So where Emerson's at, it's probably 50 feet from the tree line to the OB. Up there at the basket, it's about 10 feet from the tree line to the OB.
Well, and there we have it. And again, wait, what's going on? Again, here with our bonus coverage, we didn't necessarily have all the graphics and drone previews because we weren't planning on being out here today. But if you look at that, that's the shape and the design here of this hole, the par 5, hole number 12 at 1,050 feet. I was out there filming for the mixed doubles, and they played this one from the short tee at 725. And I thought, okay, well, this is enough. I can't imagine backing up another 325 feet.
It's a beautiful hole. I mean, it's a really beautiful hole. You can see the basket when you're way back there, like where their drives were landing. But as you're getting to right here is when it starts to get that hill becomes such a visible, just a vision blocker of the basket.
After working with the uphill slant, McBeth has
That's a putt.
Pretty good shot. Dixon, I'm thinking, when's the last time you said, oh, Paul McBeth throwing his 4th shot and he's still a few hundred feet away from the basket? That doesn't happen too often, does it?
Well, and he's in a good spot. I mean, it's like it's not that he was doing awful. It just shows the difficulty of this hole.
Kevin lining up. He's going to have those. He's going to have kind of similar footing to deal with. I do want to give a quick shout out. Legit Disc Golf is helping sponsor the bonus coverage here today. If Kevin or Emerson, who are both Legit Disc Golf team members, were to get an eagle, you could find it on Instagram, or they're giving away a hat for some lucky follower. So again, thank you to Legit Disc Golf.
Oh, it needs to sit. Oh, that kicked way left. That could be OB over there. And the first time I came to this hole, when I saw the OB line over there on the left, I was like, why on earth is there an OB line in the middle of a forest? Because there's a huge cliff drop off over there. So number one, it's for safety. But number two, if you played that as inbounds, I promise there's people that have been down there. I went down there to get a disc that somebody on our card had thrown. It may have been me. It may have been my own disc, but I did see several other discs down there as well. It's not where you want to be playing from, that's for sure.
Patent pending standstill shot there by James Conrad.
Yeah,
really
outside
good
circle
position.
two.
Yeah, he's going to be looking at maybe 70-ish feet to the basket.
Although when James was warming up his putts yesterday out at the course, he was routinely jamming those back to back, like with both of his putters that he was warming up with. It was pretty fun to watch.
Hold right there. Thank you. Hold right there.
So we can take a quick look at the scoreboard here. We see really no movement in the top three positions. Paul McBeth, Emerson Keith, James Conrad, all where they started today. Chris Dickerson has moved up 2 positions, and Kevin, with a little bit of a struggle today, has moved down 2 positions.
Yeah, that tiny little bounce off the tree, I think, is going to save Emerson. This is a shot that he most definitely can do. That other one was going to take some real magic.
A little earlier, we were talking about Eagles and legit disc golf. I want to quickly just touch in Eagle McMahon. I saw him and his dad when I visited the course briefly. Eagle at that time was tearing up the course. He has since then cooled down a little bit following up his great performance yesterday. But as of right now, Eagle McMahon sits 3 under and has moved up 4 positions into a tie for 11th place. He's had 3 bogeys since hole number 10. Before that, he was 4 under par.
Oh, what a fantastic anti-skip. And then to touch on one other score, Anthony Barella had a great bounce back round after just the struggles that we saw him going through yesterday. An 8 under par 56, which is actually what he shot on Wednesday to get him up to the lead card for yesterday. So great shooting there by AB. Back up his Nico arrow is pointing up 14 after this round. So well done, AB. Good bounce back.
Although that image was a little dark, we'll see if we can adjust the iris slightly. It's not quite that dark out there in the course, of course, very shaded and wooded. However, it is 4:42 local time. We're glad that everyone is tuned in, watching a little bonus action that we're bringing here for the MPO card. Dixon, at the top of the show, I was going to ask, what do you think is the amount of time it would take us to play this one hole out here on hole 12? I don't have it in front of me, the exact start time, but I'm guessing we're going to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 minutes to play this single hole 12.
Well, and I mean, have any of the shots been awful? No. Kevin, I think he just plinkoed off to the far side of the fairway. Oh, Kevin. Okay, well, it's in the middle. That's the best thing you can say about that. And on this hole, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, way to go.
So I think Kevin's got that shot for the 9.
Wow, incredible.
And I say that with as much sympathy as I can because it's so easy to just get strokes stacked up on this hole without feeling like you did anything terribly awful. James for the 4.
And he gave it a good bid. I know it was a little off his mark, but definitely a good bid that had at least chain high. So had it been a little more center, you could have maybe seen the birdie there.
As much as this hole beats you up on the way up the fairway, if you have any sort of option for a 4, you're going to take the run just for that shot at glory that's possible. So Paul and Emerson now putting for the par 5, both from circle 2.
Oh, somehow it pulls it in.
Sneaking in the side.
How in the world?
How did that stick?
One of our sponsors, DGA, the Mock Axe, dragging that one all the way down, pulling it into the bottom of the basket. Paul McBeth needs to make this just to match Emerson here on hole 12. Oh. McBeth from about the same distance, maybe a few feet closer, grabbed some high left chain, but not enough to pull it in. So Emerson Keith will pick up another stroke here on Paul McBeth. And that's going to pull him within 2 strokes overall, closing that gap. And Conrad takes the par, which will keep a clean scorecard even through hole 5. That means he is 4 under for the round without any bogeys. Emerson Keith also remains without a blemish, and Paul McBeth takes his first bogey of the day.
No. All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Terry Miller alongside Dixon Jowers. And Dixon, the lead that Paul McBeth had when he started the day has officially now been cut in half. He started with 4. He's down to 2. That's some good math there. Emerson Keith, though, what a putt. And we'll say a little bit of an assist from that Mock Axe as well. That was incredible.
Hey, he got a little bit of an assist from the tree on his 3rd shot. He got a little bit of an assist from the basket on his 4th shot or his 5th shot. But it doesn't matter. You write down a 5 and you move on to the next one. That's Paul's. This is the 12th hole of the 4th round at Worlds. That's his 5th bogey total. Well done, Emerson, to catch up a couple of strokes here. But that's the problem, is that Paul doesn't hand strokes back very often. So excellent job of taking it when it was available. And for as beautiful and as difficult as that par 5 is, this might be my favorite hole on the course as far as how it sets up off the box. It's just gorgeous.
That is 6, Emerson.
Again, I'll stand down for a moment.
James. 5.
Paul giving us a live listen in here on the scorecard tally. But what I was about to say is I saw Emerson Keith just for a few moments before he teed off today. I was able to get out to the course, and he said, man, it's things back home are really crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you know, your child that's on the way? He goes, no. My wife, her brakes went out yesterday in her car. She had to go get those fixed. And then in the middle of doing that, she was traveling somewhere, and then she stubbed her toe and went and broke her toe and had to go to the doctor for that. Oh so Emerson is being given just about every possible hurdle or distraction here as he's vying for a world title.
There you go. That whole left side is OB, pretty much right where the tree line starts. You can make out some white stakes there. So the error to make is definitely right to avoid OB. However, the trees are on the right, so it leaves a much more difficult upshot. Yeah, same as Emerson. Good distance, but who knows what he's got over there. Unless that poke through the backside, that is OB. That's a little point that juts out there. But I'm fairly certain Paul's OB there.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, Kev.
There you go. So that's a lot further back than Emerson and James, but he's in the middle. Kevin can attack the basket from there. Although quite a long shot, but he's got an open look for long forehand.
So now we just got done with hole number 12, which many were talking about and talking up and quite fondly of as we were moving into the World Championships. But then you said that hole 13 might be your favorite hole on the course. What about it? 650 feet, there's some OB, but what about it in particular makes it your favorite?
Well, it's a long hole in the woods, but the basket is perfectly framed even from the tee box. I mean, you can see that I don't know if it's orange or red, but whatever it is, you can see it from the tee. You've got a solid tree line down the left, so it's not really breaking apart, and you know for sure, okay, that's OB. Mm-hmm. You got all of these trees looking at you on the right. There's sunlight coming in. There's a clear landing area. There's a clear path you want on your first shot and your second shot. So it's just a really well-designed and well-maintained hole. And it doesn't allow for, like, you can't look into a 3 on this hole.
Sure.
You have to have 2 fantastic shots. Evelina, yesterday, the women are playing the blue tees out at the course, but for this particular hole, they're playing the same tee. She had the 3 after 2 magnificent shots. Katrina's drive in the first round was one of the best drives you'd ever see on this hole. Out there around that corner that Paul hit and in the middle. It was a fantastic drive. I'm pretty sure she got the 3 that day as well. There you go. Wow, what a shot by Kevin.
Yeah, and really just a great recovery after coming off of hole 12. You expect him to battle back, but to come back this strong and set himself up for what looks like a birdie, very impressive there by Kevin Jones. So here's an overlay of the hole that we're looking at, with that whole left side, as you mentioned, being out of bounds and 650 feet. It's beautiful, but certainly daunting off the tee.
Yeah, that artist rendering of this hole, that's like when you paint like a lion with like nice eyes and a smile or something. It doesn't show you that it's actually an animal. This hole is very difficult. It doesn't look as easy as that graphic made it. But Paul should have a forehand line for him to have a pretty decent chance at getting up and down for the par. And just because Emerson is safe doesn't mean that he's got near as good of a line as Paul does based on being on the right side.
Now, something that's interesting is knowing that Paul's gone out of bounds, he could take this back on the line as far as he really wanted to. So it's kind of surprising to see him pinch himself up a little bit.
Well, he moved back a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing, well, that tree that seems like it's right in front of him is actually in the OP. So I bet he's doing okay without that. This is a fast green.
Yeah, he needs it to sit down, and that's going to challenge the OB, but it looks like he's come up short of the out-of-bounds line. Would you say that's just outside the circle there for his par?
Yeah, and knowing how Paul gets after a bad shot, I'd be willing to place money on that putt that he's going to catch that one, especially after giving up a stroke on the last hole and then replying to that with an OB shot.
I believe we saw Todd Lyon there, one of the PDGA marshals that's out here on site. A very uncommon forehand is what we might be lying. Talk about bonus coverage.
Okay.
If we would have told anyone we're going to promise a James Conrad forehand, that may have doubled our viewership here.
If you're a normal disc golf watcher and you've watched James Conrad rounds, I don't need to describe how difficult this shot is. If James is throwing a forehand, that says more than I ever could. Oh, that's all the way across. Wow. Yeah. Pretty sure that just went straight across the fairway. OB on the left side. Man, Emerson smashed this shot.
As Emerson lines up his shot and noted on the board, Ricky Wysocki still a perfectly clean scorecard, and he is in for birdie on hole number 16. He's in a tie for third place right now, 28 under par. He is 9 down for the round. If he can manage to go birdie to finish out, he will tie for the hot round out here at 11 under par. Oh, as it was going right toward the basket. Looked like it had a good speed, good height, and then catches a late tree. Emerson still has a look at birdie, but we were expecting that one to land right next to the pin.
Yeah, that's Emerson's Justice super overstable approach disc, and it definitely would have made the turn, and the way that it would have landed, that would have skipped on that hard pack, and he would have had a great look for the birdie. Still, as it is, he's got to look for the birdie, just not the valet park that he was hoping for.
Dixon, you may have just referenced that specific disc, but the Bruins disc that we see Emerson throw quite frequently, that is in fact a Justice. Is that correct?
Yep. He loves that for all sorts of different approach shots. Just straight hyzers, flat shots, flex shots. That's his security blanket when he's trying to get close to the basket from inside of about 200, especially on forehands. What an awful tree kick. Like, that was definitely going to be inside circle one. This looks like about 65 feet or so.
And Emerson knew right out of his hand that it just wasn't enough power or height to it. And that's going to feel like a missed opportunity after having such a great drive. Not able to get up and down and walk away with a birdie. That one's going to sting just a little bit.
Paul now to not give up a stroke. You can see the heel of his front foot is right there on the line.
Oh, and McBeth thought he had it. I think as he was reaching down to pick up his disc, he was assuming that it was in fact going in. And it just barely dips out on the right side. So Paul McBeth will be giving up yet another stroke. He's now done so on back-to-back holes here on 12 and 13. Sounds like you brought the jinx here, Dixon.
It's just pointing things out.
There it is. Great putt by Kevin Jones.
Yeah, so there you go. Lone birdie on the card by Kevin Jones with the shortest drive.
Gives the thumbs up.
Hey.
We think that's legit, Kevin. Nice work.
Little fawns there. Oh, it looked like it was trying to come back out the front also.
Hold, please.
McBeth will tap in here on 13. You see the crowd, the gallery, all trying to run into position. We've got plenty of course left here. I know it's just 5 holes, but there's some 9-hole courses that probably play much shorter than the remaining 5 holes that we have out here.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
On this Northwood Gold course. Thank you guys so much for joining us as we're here for the bonus coverage of the MPO round number 4. Also, thank you to all the super chats. We see those continue to pour in. And not only Infinite Disc as our presenting sponsor here of the PDGA Worlds, but Legit Disc Golf and MVP coming in with some of the bonus coverage action. So McBeth down to a single stroke lead over Emerson Keith. And we've both seen him play long enough that it's very rare. He makes mistakes, of course, but to make back-to-back mistakes like he's done here is very unprecedented.
For sure. And with holes 14 and 15 coming up, these are both birdieable. 14, there's not much OB you can find. There is kind of a swamp down to the left, but it's basically just hit your line and then scramble if it's off a little bit. 15, though, lot of OB on that hole. So you could go birdie-birdie. You could go bogey-bogey on these next two. And there's a good way to go birdie to start.
Yeah, there it is. What a great flip-up shot there by Kevin Jones. Aesthetically, I would have to say this is one of my favorite holes out here on the course. And maybe it's one of the few I think, well, if I were out there, I could possibly even get a birdie myself. But I really like the way hole 14 here is shaped.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous hole to stand there and look at. When you're standing on there with a disc in your hand, it gets a little more intimidating. Needs to simmer down a little bit.
A little bit deep of the basket. Sounded like it was possibly Kevin Jones saying good golf shot there. Get it, get it, get it. Oh! Oh, James Conrad, left side center basket, but falls out. I was just thinking the last time we saw James Conrad on film, he aces hole 9 at Idlewild, comes back today and just chains out. What a gorgeous shot.
That's okay.
Paul McBeth to follow that up.
This hole sets up so perfect for that putter shot.
And the gallery seems to like it, but Paul McBeth a little too much heat as he comes in just past the basket. I'm going to try and get the spectators and the rest of the gallery to move out of position. Here's a word from our sponsor. We'll be back shortly.
I practice a lot. It's a vice. An escape from stress, from work. It's my chance to just get away during the week. It's like meeting up with an old friend, you know? I'll never get tired of that sound.
SmashBoxxTV would like to thank the following sponsors: the PDGA, Infinite Discs, Discraft, the DGA, Prodigy Discs, the City of Peoria, and all of these other generous sponsors.
So after going deep, Paul McBeth will have at least a circle's edge putt. That may even be just a few feet outside the circle.
There's a drop off right behind that basket. I wonder if that was in Paul's head, just a touch. And right before Paul putted that, Ricky was in for his birdie on hole 17 to keep his hot round going at 10 down. He is now in solo third place.
Wysocki with that birdie, like you just mentioned, in third. He is 6 behind Emerson Keith. That may move to 7 here in a moment. And he is 7 behind Paul McBeth. And a fluid straddle putting stroke there by Kevin Jones.
Emerson's got the same sort of danger right behind his basket that Paul did. Let's see if he's able to keep his height.
Emerson can again be tied for the lead at the World Championships with this putt. And he does not take advantage of the opportunity. Both him and McBeth will tap in. They're going to take their pars. And James Conrad should get a little round of applause as he taps in. Very impressive. Well, that was about...
I don't know what they're clapping about. I could have made that putt.
Yeah, not so impressive, right? James Conrad splashing chains. Thank you again, of course, to Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch for the replays all week long. But a little bit of fireworks here, and they don't even probably realize it, that Ricky Wysocki is trying to find himself a spot on this lead card tomorrow.
Yeah, I bet Emerson and Paul are only looking at their own scores.
Yeah.
Like Paul would normally, I think, keep track of things like that, but not with the lead that he's had over everybody, and knowing that both Kevin and James are just kind of keeping the same sort of pace, not shooting hot. He's not worried about them. I think Paul would be surprised to find out that there's anybody closer than Kevin and James right now.
Well, really, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think Kevin Jones' fate as to whether or not he makes it to the lead card is all on him. If he can birdie out or have a really strong finish, he could maintain that bottom spot on the lead card. He's going to have to get pretty much every birdie from here on out to do so. Otherwise, I think we may see Ricky Wysocki and James Conrad rounding out our lead card for Championship Saturday.
Oh, the inside line. Wow. That is such a flippy disc to throw it on that much hyzer on that line and then still finish moving Annie. Yeah, there you go right there. Because James loves that sort of shot.
Kevin had claimed that is the James Conrad shot or route, and James said, I'm not even taking that one.
That's the perfect line right there. Oh, simmer.
And
did he hit the wall? He hit something and stayed in bounds right there. There is OB deep, and well, actually, this is an island hole basically. There's a creek with rocks lining both sides that you can't see, and then a stake line that goes all the way around this green. That wall on the back side is the limit on the back right.
Is there anything that we can do about them up there? Hey, guys on 12, can you please hold on the right here, guys, please? Spectators, hold, please. Sorry. Thank you.
Emerson Keith asking for everyone to maybe settle in or possibly move out of position, and then tournament director Nate Heinold getting real sassy. Emerson needs that to hook up.
He's safe on the green. that was a good job by Emerson. Where those people were going is they're walking from hole 12 to hole 16 to get in front of these guys. So good job of Emerson of taking the prerogative there if they're distracting him to try to do something about it and not just thinking, I just need to play through it. That needs to get stable. Oh,
and McBeth out of bounds here on hole number 15.
I'm not sure that would have stayed. Like, I think that would have Anheuser too much anyways, unless that disc gets stable. But as fast as it was turning, I think he was going to have trouble to begin with. But now he's got he's 100 out to save par. Emerson's got to look at the birdie. It's entirely possible that Paul is now behind.
Yeah,
after the 15th hole.
I don't think there's probably any doubt. Emerson's going to be looking at lining up a birdie. Paul at best is walking away with the bogey.
I mean, unless he does Paul things right here, but more than likely, yes, this is a 4 for Paul and at least 50-50 for Emerson. I think he's about circle's edge, but given the situation, and it's a relatively safe putt, the basket isn't right on the edge, and the angle he's going to be coming from, if he hyzers out, he's going to be safe. So it's a putt that Emerson can go for pretty aggressively, and he might be inside of 30 for all I know.
So to be fair, last night when we were out here checking the signal, I ran into a few guys out playing, Dave McCormick, Nico LaCastro, Steve Rico, and Josh Anthon, and there may or may not have been a large money side game going on. Sure. But after Nico threw out of bounds, he was almost at this exact same spot, and he canned the putt to save the circle 3. We'll see if Paul McBeth can match that. So McBeth looking at a bogey 4 here on hole number 15. And if
wow. That's going to be 3 over and 4 holes for Paul. That's shocking. He had 4 bogeys coming into this round, and this is 3 out of 4 holes. Well, I know some people were saying that they were upset that FPO was going to be so close, but it looked like MPO wasn't going to be a battle, that they thought Paul was just going to stretch his lead out. But that's not happening so much. Hey, in honor of football season, James Conrad with the first field goal here. Yeah, I think these are about 25 footers, so Emerson's got to be inside of this. Great putts there by Kevin and James. Ricky putting for bird on 18 to shoot an 11 down and come in at 30 under par.
Crouched down there is Alyssa Van Landen taking photos for both her website as well as for PDGA.com. I believe you can find most of her photos also on Flickr if you are not already a Patreon subscriber of hers.
And there is the 2-shot swing. Wow.
Spectators hold, please. Spectators hold, please.
It's somewhat incredible and unbelievable of what we've seen since logging in. Like you said, we've caught up with them on hole 12. Paul McBeth taking 3 bogeys in 4 holes, and now is down a single stroke to Emerson Keith for the World Championships.
Yeah, he took the lead yesterday. I believe it was on the 8th hole, and just kind of cruised through the rest of that round. I think we thought that this was going to be a day where he just added 3 or 4 more strokes to Emerson, and I'm shocked at how Paul is. Like that's the tree that he hit right there. That's kind of the one that you're trying to avoid. There's a tree that's short and left that if you square that one up, you're generally going to stay in bounds, and if you miss it, you're going to land on the green somewhere. He was taking a more aggressive line there, and I don't know if he just thought, hey, Emerson's got the birdie, I've got to make sure I park this or what. But now this is a hole right here coming. It's a par 5 over 1,000-foot hole again. This one isn't near as difficult as 12. They're basically going to take a big hyzer out to the right. The hard part about this hole is your landing area. You need it to land very soft, but with a hyzer, it's landing, the angle that it's coming in, it's all hard pack right there. The dead straight shot is the way to stay in the middle, but it brings in extra trouble. Let's see how these guys attack.
This first shot, probably about a 325, maybe a 350-foot shot that they're just trying to find position for.
That's really good. That's like a B+ right there. But he needs to be just a touch more to the middle. I mean, he'll definitely have options there, and he's not in the woods, so all things considered, pretty good. And Ricky has hit his birdie on 18, turning in the 11 under par 53 now.
So we will see Ricky Wysocki on the lead card tomorrow. Incredible round.
I believe this is James's MD4 or maybe his Rock 3. Yeah, this is it. It's to sit flat. Sit flat.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
As that kind of filters into the woods, every inch there makes so much of a difference because they still have, 600 or 700 feet to go, and without a run up, that's going to make it very tough.
Yeah, this hole is interesting in that you want a really good drive, and your final shot approaching the green is going to be long. A lot of times you're having like about a 200-foot kind of layup shot there in the middle of this hole to put yourself in position to go for the birdie. A 3 on this hole is almost impossible without two 1080 shots or something. Oh no, that's OB. He hit that last tree. That's OB.
Just when we thought it was going to go past that, hence switching over on the camera angle. And then just before the switch, we saw that it hit and then went into the out of bounds.
Now it's not, well, it's a marked OB area that he's going to have to go to the drop zone. So it's not like he has to take that right off the box. But that's shocking. Sit.
Oh, that is
gorgeous.
Perfect by Paul McBeth. He responds. We're going to move down the fairway here of hole number 16. And I think we're going to see another swing here. The way Paul McBeth put that perfectly into the fairway where he needs to be. You saw him land right next to a tee pad. That is, I believe, what is considered maybe the third tee pad.
Yeah, that's like the middle tee pad. This isn't the one that the ladies play. But Paul's at a spot right now where, at the very least, he can throw a full power shot and have a layup for the 4.
Yep.
Depending on how aggressive he wants to get. I mean, this basket is up on the side of a hill. If you're coming in too fast, you can cut roll and some bad things can happen. So he might just play this for the 4 because Emerson at best is getting a 5 here.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him try and put one through the gap and then get probably just lay up and look for the 4, which is a great score here on the par 5.
Yeah, a phenomenal score here on hole 5.
But the way he's put himself, it's almost as if I'm getting ahead of myself because I expect him to be able to execute from there. The other 3 competitors all have to work hard and scramble to walk away with that 5 or maybe even worse out there. Paul has put himself in a good position. If he throws another good shot, he's picking up at least 1, maybe 2 strokes on the rest of his card.
Yeah, I mean, look at this drop zone. That sunlight area where you can see some spectators, that final gap is probably 250 away from Emerson, and the basket is from where that sunlight starts. The basket is probably 350 up to the right, maybe 400 at about like 2 o'clock going up a hill. It is Emerson just needs to stay in the middle on this one, and he can save his 5. This hole playing is the second most difficult on the course behind hole 12.
Averaging 5.69.
Oh, no. There's no OB over there, but he's going to have to burn a shot getting out now, which is bringing 6 into play. Wow.
So taking another look at this from where they were just teeing from, Emerson hit the right OB, so right where there's the pinch point on the top left of, I think that looks like a trapezoid of sorts. On that top left spot is where Emerson originally hit and landed OB, and now they're trying to fight through the tunnel. And Kevin Jones is in pretty good position, knowing how good he is at throwing a forehand. He's not in too bad of a position right here.
I believe that's called a rhombus, if I remember right, from 6th grade geometry.
Kevin trying to...
Is that a tree stump or sewer grate? What is that?
Kind of an awkward run up here.
Oh, and he has turned that over into the left. Yeah. Oh, man. Now, he can pitch out from there and still get his 5. I mean, this is what I was talking about, that second shots are almost layup shots. There's a tree stump there in the ground. Out here watching some players the other day, I witnessed, who was it? Philo and AB and Austin Hannum were all right in this spot, and all 3 of them threw miracle, amazing shots to get way out into the open. It was so fun to watch because it's such a difficult shot, and all 3 of them were just perfect.
And James Conrad just playing for position, and he's finding himself really on that short tee pad.
That's the ladies' tee. So you just saw on the graphic, that's 492 feet to an elevated basket, or to a basket that's elevated on a hill.
If Paul can make it out of the gap with a clean shot, he's almost guaranteed a birdie 4. Slight turn on it. It's pushing out.
That's out in the open. That's fine. Yeah, great shot by Paul.
Yeah, and from there, now he is throwing uphill, of course, like you mentioned earlier. There is a sloped green, but
300 feet uphill.
I expect,
wide open.
Yeah, and that's where I was saying I kind of expect him to get up and down from there Once you get through this initial tunnel, from there, the hole gets considerably easier. It's all about getting into that position so you can have a good, clean shot.
Man, this is almost like match play, just the momentum swings back and forth.
And this is one of yet another change that we find out here at the Northwood course. The long tee that they were throwing from is a new long tee. Typically, we see play come from this spot. I think we're going to post up right here.
Well done. Oh, man. So Emerson tagged this sign. That's what the cameraman was showing us there. There's a piece of paint missing. That's where Emerson's disc hit, or maybe that's part of the plastic of the disc stuck to the pole there. But this is absolutely just pitch out and get into the open.
Kev, somebody.
What's up? Yeah. You want your foot check?
Yeah, can you come down here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get as much as I can.
So, quite a move here. Emerson has asked for another card mate to come down just to assure that he's got a legal stance and legal footing. A really professional play here by Emerson. Wants his competitors to make sure and keep them in check as to his stance. Stay out of the... Oh, no. And that might be more trouble here for Emerson, Keith.
Wow, that it sounded like it hit a couple of leaves coming out, but I thought it wasn't going to be much. That must have really redirected.
So this is Conrad throwing his third shot. One of my favorite plays from this area right around the tee is for a backhand roller that flips up and goes up the hill and can roll up to the pin. Doesn't look like that's what Conrad is lining up, but that is a very common shot from this tee pad.
I'm going to say he's going with the flippy green putter, since that seems to just go in the basket whenever he throws it.
That might actually be maybe a little slightly flippy T-bird or something of that nature, but I think he needs a little bit more power than his putter.
He throws T-birds and Thunderbirds so well. Oh, there's the grunt. It needs to turn and hold. Yeah, hold, hold, hold. Oh, baby. Inside of circle 2. Well done, Mr. Conrad. James has that for his birdie putt.
Take a quick look here at the scoreboard. We talked about Ricky Wysocki and his scorching 11 under. We don't see, we can tell you right now, no one's going to be matching that score here today, as Ricky sits at 30 under overall, moves up 5 spots, and will join the lead card as we move into Championship Saturday.
So this is Emerson laying 4 here, I believe.
Again, calling one of his card mates over to verify that he's got a good legal position. Looks legit to me.
Oh, no.
Stay out, stay out, stay out. No.
Wow. I mean, he was... Wow, that's shocking, because he was just pitching out. I wonder if those same thing as last hole, if those couple of leaps he hit right away just changed his angle completely. I mean, because that extra 40 feet or 50 feet worth of power didn't do anything. It's not like that puts it, where he can make it all of a sudden. So he is laying 5, throwing 6 right now. Right, so Emerson is praying for a 7. This is Kevin's 3rd shot. No way.
Incredible shot there by Kevin Jones. I was thinking just make the corner and make sure that it doesn't finish too hard to the right, maybe even find it, but he puts himself there up on the dance floor.
Are you kidding me?
Emerson Keith wiping his hands. He is really struggling here. As we said, at best, he's looking at a 7 and could be losing as many as 3 or 4 strokes to Paul McBeth here on hole number 16.
And this is every bit of 350.
And if that flexes back right to the pin, oh, that is the best possible shot anyone could throw there.
Wow.
That was incredible. We'll take another look at it with our Sandy Point Resort instant replay. And just at the very end, as it flexes back and then sits for him, there is a chance that could get on edge and roll back down the hill. It doesn't. And Emerson Keith, again, best case scenario, looking at a 7, which would be a triple bogey. And Paul McBeth is looking to be the leader yet again as they move into hole 17. We'll see if Paul McBeth can get up and down and possibly take 3 strokes from Emerson Keith here. Needs to sit, or it could get up and roll.
Oh, no, there is OB over there. No, that's the circle.
That is just the circle, but he will have an obstructed putt. Yeah, he's not too likely he's going to be able to make that, let alone be able to even see the basket. And what a turn of events. And I did misspeak a moment ago. I was thinking of this as a par 4. It is a par 5, so Emerson is still looking at that total score of 7, which would be a double bogey, not a triple bogey. But now Paul McBeth, who I thought would have no problem getting up and down from there, catches the roll, and I'm thinking he's going to be walking away with the par 5.
Didn't get up and down.
We can channel an inner reigning champion for that one.
Inner Barsby Climo. So, I mean, like, the longer Ricky waits, the better he looks. Like, he's done playing and he's moving up the scoreboard.
This is James Conrad for birdie.
So, I mean, if you think back to, like, what, 3 minutes ago? Emerson is in the scrub, likely going to take an 8 unless he pulls out a miracle shot. Paul in the wide open, likely going to get up and down for the 4. And now Emerson throws the miracle shot. He's got 20 to save 7. Paul is underneath a pine tree from 40 feet for his birdie putt.
A beautiful angle. Thank you to our cameramen out there hustling around today, giving you a little more bonus action. So we see Kevin Jones putting straight back at us with the hill behind him, or behind the basket, I should say.
That was his birdie putt.
Take another look at it here with our Sandy Point replay. Oh, and that is on the right side, but somehow doesn't get pulled in. He's got to be thinking about how in the world did my teammate, how did Emerson Keith's drop in a few holes ago, but that one doesn't?
Wow.
Tough to tell if McBeth even has a open look at this. Looks like he's outstretched to his
left.
Yeah, is that to his
and he
left?
Is way under that tree.
He's got to be sure that he doesn't hit a branch directly in front of him, leaving him still with a 35-footer. Oh, gives it a solid run. Emerson, who's had a perfectly clean scorecard up into this point. This is a putt for double bogey. Solid.
Wow. Well done, Emerson, after just getting beat up for the first 600 feet of this hole. Wow, Paul is going to be upset after throwing 2 perfect shots on this hole and coming away with a par.
He still gains 2 strokes back and now is the outright leader at 35 under par. Emerson sits at 34. Wysocki in the clubhouse with 30 under, and James Conrad trying to hold on to that 4th place position to see him on the lead card tomorrow. We've got a quick walk over to hole number 17. Here's a word from our sponsors.
If you guys like the H3 V2, but maybe you're looking for just a little bit more flip up and glide, the H4 V2 is gonna be your disc. I'm absolutely loving it, and it filled a spot in my bag immediately.
And welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our bonus coverage here of the MPO round number 4, taking place out at the Northwood Park, just outside of, we'll say, the town of Morton. As I was thinking about how we're a little bit spread out here for the World Championships. We've been at Sunset Hills. We've also been, of course, in Lake Eureka, in the town of Eureka, and now we're out here in Morton. Such an incredible effort by Nate Heinold and the entire staff, all the visitors and convention bureaus who have welcomed us so graciously, nearly 300 competitors here for the week. Here's Kevin Jones.
It's a very tight uphill shot, and there's a little ravine that runs there in the middle, coming from the right side, cutting across the fairway, and then going up the left. You basically, if you just want to hit that gap, and then anything can happen after that, and you can probably save par. That second hill that you see, the basket's probably 125 from there. So really, it's just clear that with anything moving forward, and you're probably going to putt. However, big numbers can happen on this hole. I think I saw that Eagle took a 5 on this hole just a little while ago. Oh, that's a bad spot.
If there's one hole I would love to skip if I was out here playing in a competitive format.
12.
Nope, it's this
12.
one. This one.
12.
It's this one. Uphill, tight gap the entire way
12.
with a lot of scramble. Here's McBeth.
Laced. Well, but that's
he's getting up and down from there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, as long as you're not hitting anywhere early, and Paul hit somewhere near the, we'll say the latter 2/3 of the hole.
He hit the gap and then hit something.
Oh, that needs
that. Oh, and it shot right.
Is the worst kind here as we're going to move up the fairway.
Oh, geez.
Quickly, as there, well, there's going to be a shorter walk for some than others, but 330 up the hill. It's a par 3 with that very tight gap. I also wanted to give another quick shout out. MVP Disc Sports stepping up immediately after we mentioned that we could possibly bring you some bonus coverage. So thank you so much to MVP Disc. Also, I'd like to thank Savage Apparel, who have worked with us here. We're going to see some new shirts out on the course coming up soon. So thank you to Savage, along with Legit Disc Golf.
Yeah, the problem with getting off on either side of this fairway is that it's basically this hole is shaped basically like an hourglass, and so you're going to have to make that main gap at some point. And the further you go off, the weirder your angle is to get back to it. Yes. What a shot.
Great recovery
What a
there by
shot.
James Conrad.
Now Emerson's off to find his disc to try to unwrap this ugly present and see what he's got inside. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I can't describe to you what this shot is because it's never occurred to me to. I mean, this has got to be 75 feet off of the fairway. It's over to his left. This is. I'm guessing forehand roller, maybe.
Yeah, and he has to be very careful because if he puts this up in the air and goes with
he can't throw it. He can't throw an air shot.
Yeah, if he does throw an air shot,
geez.
it could kick and keep him out of bounds. I like the roller option here, throwing what would be uphill. Now it looks like he's looking at maybe an inside route. So if he can bring it inside very quickly and avoid all of those trees on the right, but this is a dangerous move here.
Take your 4, buddy. Take your 4 and run.
Let's see if he can execute another miraculous shot. We saw an incredible forehand by him on the previous hole.
Right, but that was after 3 bad shots.
So you're saying he's got another one in him. I believe that.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Oh, wait. What's he doing?
I think he sees an inside gap.
It's like he knows he's building the tension. Oh, go get. Where is it?
And not enough to bring it back into our catch camera frame.
I mean, it sounded like it hit something early, but it looked like he was still watching for a little bit. I think Kevin just said, "I'm going to go now to save time." So Kevin might be, I don't know, 200 or so feet, 200 and a quarter.
And talk about an awkward stance. He's got his back to the basket. He's got his right leg propped up on the back of the mound, or on the back of the backside of the ditch. Oh, what a technical shot here.
Yeah.
And
I mean, and that's a pretty good shot from just being barely off the fairway. Like, that shows you how difficult this hole is. It's such an incredible pinch point. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't even picture, because when you come off of this basket, you go up away from the tee for the path that walks over to hole 18. So I don't even know what short of the basket looks like on the right. Oh, wow.
okay, a good-looking shot.
I didn't see it the whole time, and then it's right by the basket. What a shot by Emerson.
So he is looking at the bogey 4.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah, considering where he was.
Second shot went 6 feet.
Paul McBeth in the center of the fairway, short, at least 150 feet to the pin. And now he finds himself less than 10 feet from the pin. So McBeth is going to pick up a single stroke on Emerson Keith, which I believe will extend his lead to 2 over Emerson.
I mean, all things considered, when Emerson looks back on these 2 holes, he's going to think, man, I only gave up 3 shots. And, like, he could have given up 6 or 7 on these 2 holes.
And that tree certainly comes into play there for Kevin Jones, who's a little bit frustrated. That's going to be a bogey 4 for Kevin as well.
I mean, it's just a little 330-foot hole in between two tough holes there at the end.
I just told you.
You just throw it real quick.
I am so impressed with anyone that birdies this hole. And there was a considerable amount of them today.
Yeah, 30 of them.
30 of them. I think this is one of the most demanding tee shots that's out on this course.
Ricky had, basically he just had a drive on this hole because it landed inside of 10 feet, so they don't even count the putt. That's how Ricky played this hole. What a 4. What a 4. I'm going to try to go out to the course later, so I promise I will walk to that spot just to see what on earth was going on from there.
So what an interesting turn of events after McBeth has 3 bogeys in 4 holes and then comes back here.
And loses the lead.
Yeah, and then comes back here and now is 2 shots clear of second place and Emerson Keith. It's almost, yeah, this is why we're here for live disc golf.
For sure.
I cannot believe the mix of emotions that we're seeing, this roller coaster by our competitors. They have 1 hole left to play. I think the story of the day, besides the incredible rounds that were shot by a few of our players, the next best story, hole 18, James Conrad putting it inside circle 2 on this next hole to go for the eagle. Yes, hole number 18.
I didn't know that.
He put it inside circle 2. He had a putt at it. Someone had said that had he not just barely clipped a branch, that he likely would have been parked. And this came from some credible sources at the course last night.
You can't be parked on this hole.
Yes, that he was inside circle 2. No joke. That was the conversation as I watched some players out there yesterday getting yet another practice round in. So Paul McBeth, 35 under. Emerson Keith sits at 33. Wysocki sits at 30. We're going to for sure see him on this lead card tomorrow. And then now it all comes down to James Conrad. If he can walk away with a par, he secures himself on the lead card tomorrow. If he were to bogey,
He's out of there.
He would be out of there, or would he still be?
No, Dickerson has the hot round. Dickerson
does have the hotter round. Yeah, thank you. A little bit of, well, logic and math as we look at that. So Chris Dickerson may find himself on the lead card. I would be willing to take anyone's bet that says that James Conrad takes a par or better here, though.
Yeah, this is a relatively easy hole. I mean, it's your drive is, I mean, basically you just throw anything as hard as you can, and if you finish left, that's a little better than finishing right, as long as you're not too far right. But I mean, this is a par 4 playing at a 3.65. It's the easiest hole on the course. 46% birdie, 46% par. Yeah, as long as that doesn't go in the woods on the left. Well, some good scattering there. But even then, I mean, it's not OB over there. So, I mean, at the worst, he still takes his 4 probably. Stable a little bit. Yeah. Oh, that's smashed potatoes right there.
That's exactly what you need to do here.
Turn up a little bit.
Turned up for what is the question.
He doesn't like it, and it's 200 feet past where any of the rest of us can throw.
I am not sure what he'd be disappointed with. That is a great drive there by Kevin Jones.
I mean, with his distance, he can beat that corner on the right, so he's probably looking for it to hold Annie the whole way and give himself that long jump putt. Yeah,
dips right. Hopefully that just drops.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to hyzer hard.
Correct, but the quicker it drops to the ground, I think the better angle you're going to have. We're going to stand down. We've actually got a long walk, so we're going to listen to a few words from our sponsors. Again, thank you to Legit Disc Golf. Thank you to MVP and Savage Apparel. Here's a word from MVP.
Bag tags are a great way to get the word out about your local disc golf scene or event. With the included loop, both traveling players and locals can represent your local scene wherever they go. And ordering is easy. The minimum quantity is 25 tags with discounts for larger orders. You can use your own artwork or we'll help you with a design. The tags are made of a durable plastic and are about the size of a credit card. With optional two-sided printing and discounted prices for non-numbered tags, we've got enough options to make your tags fit your budget. Head to dynamicdisc.com to get started with your order.
Welcome back to our bonus coverage here, the 2019 PDGA Worlds presented by Infinite Discs. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, alongside Dixon Jowers. I can't think of a better way to spend my Friday nights than sitting next to you, Dixon, watching a little disc golf.
Yeah, maybe we can go dancing later. That'd be a cool Friday night, right?
I'm down.
Dum, 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 dum.
I have a feeling we dance to different tunes, though.
I have a feeling nobody wants to see the two of us dancing to anything.
They're fine. Oh, they're fine.
So you can see the basket there on the right side, well, kind of in the right middle of the screen. James is going to need hyzer flip T-bird probably.
And what? Another forehand?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that last unicorn we saw was not a very pretty one. Hold.
Not quite enough. He's going to find himself on that right side. Now I'm second guessing what I was talking about, the likelihood of him taking a bogey. Hopefully we're going to see him get up and down from there. Again, that will determine his fate, whether we see him on the lead card or on the top of the chase card for the final round here tomorrow. And these players will be at Lake Eureka for our fifth and final round as we determine our world champion. Emerson's.
Yeah, it's inside the circle.
And notice there's not a lot of other movement, so to speak, in the top 10. Double G finds himself moving up from 15th into the tie for 9th. So his 6 under was a good round that elevated him into that top 10 positioning right now. But most of our players, not too much movement here otherwise.
Oh. Yeah, Ricky with that 11 down. The next best in the top 10 was a 6 down. So Paul's got that for birdie. Got to feel that that's going. And Emerson, to not lose a stroke, has maybe a couple steps inside the circle.
So definitely not matching the efforts that we saw from them a few days ago. Paul McBeth looking to go to 4 down. Emerson Keith looking to go to 6 down. A far cry from what we saw, and really the most impressive round here by a long shot today was, in fact, Ricky Waisaki's 8 under, or correction, 11 under. And I'm looking at Anthony Barella's 8 under.
Yep.
So after a less than... we'll say amazing outing by Anthony Barella yesterday, he comes back so strong and shoots the second hottest round in the entire tournament. If that's not resilience, I don't know what is. So congratulations. I'd say hats off, maybe visors off to you, Anthony Barella. Just such a great comeback performance today.
So between Emerson and Paul, they were 4 over on the back 9. Ricky was 6 down on the back 9. That's making up some ground with not many holes to go. And, I mean, Ricky's in play. It's not like he just had a good round and he's going to be on live coverage just for a, ceremonial sake. I mean, he's in play now, going out to Eureka. He'll be likely 6 back of Paul, likely 4 back of Emerson.
And a lunging James Conrad puts himself next to the pin. He will walk away with the lone par most likely on this hole, assuming everyone else can convert.
Nice putt, Emerson. Okay, well, I'll update it with the whole 18 scores. They shot 2 over on the back instead of 4 over.
James Conrad with the lone par here on 18. Dixon, I think we can start to wrap things up. I think we're actually just going to barely come in under the gun of battery power as we were out there. It was a very long day for our cameramen. Of course, we have to thank Ryan, Gary, and Joey, who are out there hustling around, giving us a little extra bonus action. Clearly, the back half or the back 1/3 of Northwood, no easy walk in the park. So
not at all.
Everything they did to help bring us that is greatly appreciated. And Johnny V back in the controls. Dixon, before I let you go, and we'll see you again tomorrow out on the sidelines. But before I let you go, any parting shots or thoughts that you have here today?
We got a ball game.
Yeah.
I think we thought going into this round that Paul was going to run away and tomorrow was going to be a victory lap. No. He's got Emerson still hanging right there. 2 shots back, which is what it was at the it was 4 strokes at the beginning of the day.
Yep.
2 shots back now. And then all of a sudden, Ricky, who has been almost just like not part of the discussion at all, that Raptor came running through the forest and all of a sudden is in play again. Plus the fact that we've got a 3-way tie atop of FPO tomorrow. Good golf is coming tomorrow for you guys to watch to decide a couple of different world championships.
Yeah, I'm not sure really what else you could ask for. These great battles taking place, some of the names we know. And then, like you mentioned, on the FPO side, to have a 3-way tie going into tomorrow's action to determine our world champion, Paige Pierce, Katrina Allen, and of course, Evelina Salonen. They all sit at 16 under. Sarah Holcomb, maybe a long outside chance at being able to really get into that mix, but we're going to go to Sunset Hills. We've seen some very drastic swings take place out there, and we've seen Paige Pierce specifically tear that course up. We've seen Katrina Allen do quite well there. Evelina, on the other hand, she has really struggled. She's only gone 3 or 4 under out of her 16 strokes that she's got under par this week. So it's not necessarily a course, but maybe tomorrow she's going to turn things around. So we're going to call it. We hope that you enjoyed the bonus footage. Again, we can't say it enough. We want you to go out and support our bonus coverage sponsors and supporters, MVP Disc, who stepped up immediately, along with Legit Disc Golf, all of the supporters and sponsors throughout the entire week here of the event and of our coverage, including the PDGA and Infinite Disc. We thank you guys as well. It's been an incredible day. We're going to sign things off. For Johnny V back in the booth, for Dixon Jowers and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, we'll see you tomorrow morning when we crown our champions on the FPO side when you step inside the Smash Box.